Thousands of Palestinians gathered along the border between Israel and Gaza on Friday. They were continuing to rally for the Great March of Return protest against Israel. The Israeli Defense Forces say protesters appeared in 6 locations along the border. They burned tires and hurled rocks at the security fence and Israeli soldiers. Gaza's health ministry says among the hundreds of injured protesters, 70 were hit by live fire. Dozens of Palestinians have been killed since protests erupted 6 weeks ago. As our correspondent Stephanie Freid reports, the death toll may still rise.
A month into March of Return protests on the part of Palestinians living in Gaza, more volatility, new tactics that the Palestinian protesters are using, but for the first week in a month, no deaths reported so far this Friday. About the numbers, 7,000 protesters, according to Israel's army, showed up on Friday, different locations along the Israel-Gaza border. Approximately 400, a bit more, were wounded. And again, as I reported, no deaths. One of those new tactics that the Palestinians are using, one is called kite terrorism. They're lighting kites on fire, sailing them across the border, and setting entire fields on fire, and that is taking Israeli firefighters hours sometimes to put out. The other tactic, about 50 kilometers south of this border crossing, is another commercial border crossing. There, the Palestinians on the Palestinian side are sabotaging, destroying pipelines that carry oil and gasoline to them from Israel. So it's a self-sabotage move. What are we looking toward in the coming few weeks? The peak of these protests is scheduled for May 15th. That's the Nakba, or Catastrophe Day. According to Palestinians, that's the day when Israel gained independence and statehood. We're expecting the protests to be more volatile, to reach a peak then, especially based on the fact that Palestinians have said, the protesters and Hamas, who controls the strip behind me, that they're going to try and break through the security fence between Gaza and Israel on that day. Israel says it's going to defend that fence at all costs. Stephanie Freid, CGTN, on the Gaza-Israel border.